好，各位記者朋友。
Thank you, media friends. Do you need more time?
差唔多啦，嗬。好，好，請兩位埋位。
Thank you. Please be seated.
好，咁今日咧就好簡單嘅程序。咁啊，首先咧我哋會請楊局長咧作簡單嘅發言。
Today, Mr. Kevin Young will give us some opening remarks, and then we will take questions. Now let's hear from Mr. Kevin Young. Media friends, thank you for coming to this press conference on a Sunday. The 2023 policy address is themed A Vibrant Economy for a Caring Community, with a focus on implementing one country, two systems, enhancing governance, enhancing growth impetus, and also responding to livelihood matters and economic aspirations. Now I will first give you a briefing on the policy portfolios under the CSTB. On tourism, enhancing our tourism industry is one important measures in enhancing our development impetus. We will update the measures under the development blueprints for tourism industry of Hong Kong. We will follow the direction of shaping tourism with cultural activities and promoting culture through tourism, and also showcase our position as a keynote in the single-stop multiple destination tourism. I will establish a new advisory committee on tourism strategy to canvass the views from the industry and also coordinate collaboration between various sectors. I will also establish the working group on smart tourism to promote tourism with technology. We will enhance the cultural heritage incentive scheme to cultural characteristic tourism incentive scheme to encourage the sector to develop more tourism products with characteristics. We will also review our strategy on developing cruise tourism. An action plan will be launched next year to promote our strength as an Asian cruise tourism hub. We will also support the organization of various international convention activities in Hong Kong. Now we will follow the principle of low density and high quality in promoting tourism in Shuttlecock. We will collaborate with the Shenzhen municipal government in doing so. The policy address has promoted various measures on promoting culture and creative industries in Hong Kong. First, promoting Chinese culture. Two, promoting cultural arts and the creative industry developments, and also enhancing cultural exchanges. Hong Kong has been given the position of a East-Meets-West cultural exchange center to showcase the soft power of our country's culture and the unique attraction of the Chinese culture. While inheriting the Chinese culture, we also have to embrace our time and face the world to tell good stories of Hong Kong and the country. We have to consolidate national identity among the people and enhance a sense of happiness. Now, the newly established Chinese Culture Promotion Office will be responsible for coordinating, planning, and hosting cultural activities to promote Chinese culture and history, including the Chinese Culture Festival, to be hosted starting next year. This activity will nurture a sense of recognition among people for the country. We will also establish a museum to showcase national development and achievements, covering areas such as history, politics, economic development, and culture. And also, the existing Hong Kong Museum of Coastal Defense will be converted into the Hong Kong Museum of the War of Resistance and Coastal Defense with a better positioning. And also, we will collaborate with the Shenzhen Cultural Relics Bureau to organize exhibitions every year on thematic topics. The CSTB will consolidate and make the positioning of various museums clearer in Hong Kong so that they can better meet the need of social development and offer better attraction to visitors. We will also enhance the blueprints. We will also promulgate the blueprints for arts and culture and creative industries development within the year. And the Create Hong Kong will be restructured as the Cultural and Creative Industries Development Agency. We will also inject $4.3 billion into the Films Development Fund and the Create Smarts initiative. This shows the government's determination to support the creative industries. There will be two new schemes, which are the Film Financing Scheme for mainland markets under the Film Development Fund and also the Hong Kong Asian Film Collaboration Funding Scheme. There will also be the Hong Kong Europe Asian Film Collaboration Funding Scheme to assist directors in Hong Kong. We will also organize the Hong Kong Fashion Design Week within the year, featuring various local prominent fashion events to promote our brands on fashion.
Also, the government will be launching the Signature Performing Arts program to nurture world-class performances and international cultural brands that represent Hong Kong. We're supporting major signature cultural productions. Together with the Education Bureau, we will have the pilot scheme on the use of school venues by arts groups, so that arts groups will have facilities for rehearsals to tie in with the development in arts and culture. To take forward the cultural exchanges and cooperation, the recurrent expenditure will be increased from $50 million to $17 billion, supporting the arts groups to stage the performances and exhibitions overseas. The ETOs and mainland offices will also be promoting arts and culture, and manpower will be increased in that regard. Promoting sports will not only be beneficial to public health, it will help the athletes to have more podium finishes, and they are doing us proud. And sports development will also be stimulating economic development. Sports in Hong Kong will be moving in the direction of elitism, popularization, event-driven, professionalism, and commercialization. The athletes in Hong Kong have been putting in outstanding performance. We will be devoting more resources to develop elitist sports. There will be world-class swimming pool complexes and arenas for fencing, training and practices. The Kai-Tak Sports Park, upon completion, will be able to host soccer and rugby matches and also musical events. We will have the capacity to take forward the development in this area. Coaches are important. We will work together with SF and OC to offer more opportunities for coach training. The Hong Kong SI's new complex will be commissioned next year. There will be more elitist training. The Sports Medicine Center of the HKSI will provide more support for sports medicine. We will be promoting sports for all, and for certain festivals we will be opening up the facilities for public use for free, and we will be having thematic sports days. The sports stadium under the LCSD will provide physical fitness corners, and there will be smart physical fitness facilities for the members of the public. So much I have to say for the time being, and I welcome questions from the floor.
We will now open the floor for questions. Please tell us your media organizations and limit your questions to no more than 2. Thank you. The lady at the back. Good morning, I'm from Cable News. Secretary, the policy address mentioned that the Create Hong Kong agency would be restructured as the Cultural and Creative Industries Development Agency. Why is there such a change? Is it because of the shift towards the industry-led development approach? Now, previously, some LegCo members said that the cruise terminal shouldn't be turned into a tourist attraction. Rather, it should serve the transport function. Now, by creating this cruise tourism industry, how many visitors do you expect to bring into Hong Kong? Under the CSTB, Create Hong Kong is mainly responsible for promoting and developing the 8 major cultural industries. In terms of the film industry and the fashion industry, we have always adopted an industry-led approach. We focus more on talent nurturing, markets, development, as well as creating a creative ambience in Hong Kong to promote growth in the industry. Now, this proposal to restructure the Create Hong Kong is a further step ahead. We seek to offer deeper help for the 8 industries to develop them. Now, on the front of matching, we will match the stakeholders of the 8 industries with various potential projects. And also, we will encourage cross-sectoral collaboration between the 8 industries to achieve breakthroughs. Now, there will also be more manpower attached to the new development agency. There will be a 30 to 40% increase in manpower so that we can lead delegations to participate in international activities. This will allow the stakeholders in the industries to reach out to clients in the international market. By expanding the market, we can help bring our products to the world. Now, by restructuring the agency, we can have a better focus on the intended portfolio. In terms of the Kai Tak cruise terminal, at the inception of the cruise terminal, it was intended as a facility for cruise ships' calls. The Kai Tak cruise terminal offers berthing facility for cruise ships as well as boarding facilities for visitors. Now, there is only some 5,600 square meters in size for commercial activities in the cruise terminal. Indeed, we have heard a lot of diverging views whether there should be more commercial activities allowed in the cruise terminal. And there are other voices stating that there should be adjustments made to the functions and positioning of the cruise terminal because of changes in external factors. Now, the policy address mentioned that we are to develop a cruise economy in Hong Kong. So that's why we will seek to improve the cruise terminal and also promote Hong Kong as a calling destination for international cruise lines. Now, of course, in developing the cruise terminal, we have to look at the comprehensive development strategy for Kai Tak and also whether there is room to modify the Kai Tak cruise terminal further. Now, we will update the public in due course. Next question, please. The gentleman with glasses.
Hello, good morning. I'm from the South China Morning Post. Several questions on the film industry. I read in the policy measures that there is a film financing scheme for mainland market, and this is a new scheme, I believe. I'm just wondering if you could let us know what this is exactly hoping to achieve, and is that a kind of KPI? I'm asking because it says it's hoping for Hong Kong filmmakers to open the mainland market for Hong Kong companies, film companies to cooperate with cultural enterprises on the mainland. But Hong Kong films, as it stands, are already quite well accepted on the mainland market. And according to the Trade Development Council, in 2022 alone, more than 80% of the National Radio and Television Administration approved applications for film co-production were movies between Hong Kong and mainland filmmakers. So I'm just wondering what the scheme is hoping to achieve, given it's kind of already successful. The second question is, since the amendment of the Film Censorship Ordinance 2 years ago, the film industry has voiced concerns about creativity and freedom of expression, most famously recently by veteran actor Chow Yun-fat in Seoul. Is injecting money alone or attracting funding enough to revive the film industry in Hong Kong? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. I will ask Permanent Secretary to give you more details on the promotion scheme in a while. But firstly, I think on the promotion scheme, our objective, as you said, China or the mainland China is actually a very important market for our films. And we feel that, as you know, the size of the population is many times of the population of Hong Kong. While many Hong Kong films can now go into the mainland market and also are well received. But we think that in order to promote sort of the attention to the market, we want to establish a scheme so that we could encourage the film producers, directors in Hong Kong to produce films with a view to attract the mainland audience. So that's the idea of the scheme. But I shall let the Permanent Secretary to give you more details. On the second questions, I think, as you said, the amendment to the film censorship scheme was implemented 2 years ago. And we did see many good films being produced in the past 2 years. And actually, they attract quite good box receipts. So I do not think that the change we put in 2 years ago has any direct impact on the quality of films that we are seeing. And we believe that with the continued support of the government, and with the participation of the film industry in Hong Kong, we will continue to produce very good films, both for Hong Kong audience, as well as our mainland counterparts, as well as the world. Would Joe please supplement?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Secretary. Thank you for the questions. About the new mainland film financing scheme, basically is to expound on the original schemes that we have. For the schemes that we now have, basically, is more focused on, smaller scale productions. And what we are trying to do is to expand the reach, both in terms of the scale of the of each film production, and also the beneficiaries, who from Hong Kong can then benefit from the scheme. In the new scheme that we propose, we are going to maximize the government funding, as well as to require the mainland productions to be, I mean the films that is going to be released into the mainland, they have to be of a certain size before they are eligible for these mainland financing schemes. In other words, those smaller films productions may not be the target of this particular film scheme. And of course, the second thing is actually that we will try to make use of this opportunity to secure more opportunities for our film professionals, both as say for example as a director or screenwriter, or even as actor or actress. So they will have the opportunities of getting into these productions. At the end of the day, we try to expand the market reach within the mainland market, which, as you all know, is one of the key, if not the largest film market in the world. So it's really for us to provide or to expand the opportunities for our film professionals as far as we can.
下一條提問。
Next, please. A gentleman in white shirt in the front row, please. Mr. Secretary, HK01, 2 questions, if I may. The first one is on a macro level. Now, we are talking about the dwindling number of mainland visitors to Hong Kong. In the policy address, there are quite a lot of measures which are basically enhancing the existing measures, and they are actually old wine in new bottles. Are you going to be adopting more targeted measures to reverse the downward trend? My second question about the Kai Tak, the Kai Tak Sports Park will be commissioned. In Kai Tak, the traffic situation is really of concern. Now, the monorail system supposedly would be completed in 2023, but I mean, the commencement is not happening anytime soon. Will this be affecting the development of the Kai Tak Sports Park? Will you have any concerns about this leaving a bad taste in the mouth of the visitors? Right, the first one about the visitors. Since February, when we open up for free travel, we have seen a pretty rapid uptick in the number of visitors. Month by month, in August, we have reached about 70% of the average between 2017 and 2019. During the Golden Week, compared with 2017-18, we're reaching about 70% of the total at that time. If you cast a sight around the world at other cities, they have very different times of opening. In the first year, for the first year after the opening, we're not doing particularly badly. In terms of tourism, we are always facing challenges. We are increasing or improving or enhancing the travel experience for the visitors. And we're also mindful of the changes in the demands of the visitors. That you all noticed that previously there were so many people coming to Hong Kong, not least those coming from the mainland. They were more into shopping. Now they're more into in-depth travel itineraries. Now, having regard to these changes, when we develop our products, we have to tie in with these kind of trends. So in the policy address, we talk about developing the travel products that are uniquely featuring Hong Kong's identity, like we are developing a lot more different itineraries for Hong Kong. In the light of these changes, in our blueprint for tourism industry, we will have regard to the change in the tourist taste. Now, we have the development blueprint for Hong Kong's tourism industry 2.0, which will be coming out next year. The cruise terminal is also part of tourism. So next year, in the first half of next year, there will be some plans that we rolled out to develop this. And convention exhibition, there will be more events to be held. These are really part of the tourism picture. Some people are saying that there are many people gravitating to the mainland for shopping, and they're making comparison with the number of visitors coming to Hong Kong. But if you look at the statistics over the years, those who are bound for the mainland for shopping, the number is always higher than the number of visitors coming south to Hong Kong. So over the years, this has been a phenomenon that we have been seeing. What we have to do is to lure more visitors to Hong Kong so that they would have a good experience here in Hong Kong. This will showcase a good story about Hong Kong. They can also disseminate the message, and this will in turn stimulate the economy. In terms of Kai-Tak, the TLB has already announced that they are looking into the possibility of developing a green mass transit system there. This, as far as CSTB is concerned, we are overseeing the cruise terminal and the Kai-Tak Sports Park, and these developments, and it would be making life more convenient for the visitors. Now, when you look at the cruise terminal, earlier this year, on one occasion or two occasions for that matter, there were times when people had to queue up for a pretty long time for taxis. That we got this sorted, and in the Kai-Tak area, we are trying to work out the flow of people there, and we have the statistics in mind. With this new mass transit system, it will be beneficial to the cruise terminal as well as the Kai-Tak Sports Park. It will make the transport that more accessible. It will facilitate the flow of people. I'm sure that the system will have a positive impact on the development in Kai-Tak. Let's take one or two questions. Lady in the front row, please. Mr. Secretary, please identify yourself. Singtao Daily. Mr. Secretary, the government talked about promoting the pop culture. When people are staging street performances, they have to apply for a license. Are you considering some suggestion by members that some funding should be made available? And will you consider some the waterfront areas or the touristy areas to attract more tourists to Hong Kong?
On the issue of street performance, all along, our position is that we want to allow performers, in particular young people, to show their talents. We give our full support behind them. Of course, on street performances, we have to consider a number of factors, including the impact or nuisances caused to the working environment and also the residents nearby. Now we want to give our young people more opportunities to perform. That's why in venues managed by the LCSD, for example, the space outside the Shatin Community Hall, we are opening up these venues for performers. We intend to expand the scope of this scheme to other places managed by LCSD. Through this initiative, we can gradually increase the outdoor space available for performances. But there is a dilemma. Of course, you want to have as many audience as possible. Still, we have to consider the impact on the other pedestrians, the neighborhood, as well as shops nearby. We have to consider the circumstances, districts by district. And we welcome owners of private sites opening up their venues for performances by young people. We surely welcome the idea. The last question, please, the gentleman in black. Good morning. I'm from Hong Kong Economic Times. Now about tourism. The policy address encourages the tourism industry to develop more tourism products. However, in the past few years, the government hasn't been doing that. The government hasn't encouraged the industry to do so. So are you passing the responsibility on to the industry? Now about cultural tourism, what areas are you looking at in Hong Kong? Now it seems that in this policy address there isn't much mentioning on sports. Most of the measures are just continuations of previous strategies. So do you think the existing strategies are sufficient? And also there will be 15 events under the M mark being conducted in Hong Kong this year. So next year, what events we will be looking at? I cannot agree with something that you said just now. Now you said we haven't updated our tourism products over the past 3 years. But that's not true. Over the past 3 years, we have done a lot to update and revamp our tourism attractions. Even under the pandemic, I will invite the Permanent Secretary to elaborate on that. Now about developing more tourism products, we are inviting the tourism industry to help us. Now on cultural and heritage tourism, we will have to consider whether these tourism attractions merit promoting to visitors. So we will have to work hand in hand with the tourism industry. On sports, under the M mark system, there are a dozen of M events this year. We want to organize successful events every year and attract more events to come. Now our target is to increase the number of M mark events under the system. On sports development, we have followed the 5 directions, including elite sports, making sports an industry, and also popularization of sports. You have to understand it takes a lot of efforts and accumulated efforts in particular to achieve what we have now. Now we see that because of the extraordinary performances of our elite athletes, society as a whole is being much more supportive of sport players in Hong Kong. Over the past few years, we have also constructed a lot of sports facilities because you need a venue to play sports and train athletes. And also we are expanding our capacity in terms of sports medicine and sports science. In terms of popularization of sports, a lot of measures have been mentioned in this policy address. We want to create a sport culture in Hong Kong, and from among the players, we can identify potential athletes among them. Permanent Secretary, please. Over the past few years, we haven't stopped revamping or creating new tourism attractions and enhancing existing tourism facilities. We have to understand what our attractions are for visitors. Now, when you decide where to travel, you are not likely to look for new attractions every year. And there are some very popular tourism destinations for Hong Kong people. They are not offering new products every single year. Now, what's more important is the uniqueness of each place. Visitors will come back if they find the location unique to them. Now, there is a trend among visitors. They are looking for cultural elements. and in-depth tourism. Over the past 2 years, we have commissioned many new museums, and also the Palace Museum. We have revamped our art museum. It is the highlight along the coastline now. A lot of visitors are looking for in-depth experience when they travel. So we have been hosting the DDHK in Hong Kong over the past few years, with the latest one in Tsuen Wan. And we have the Yim Tian Zai Arts Festival. That is a derelict Hakka village. Through the work of the governments and the indigenous villagers, we have turned a place with rich historical culture into a place to tell the Hakka story to visitors. Now, we are also having the Sai Kung Hoi Art Festival besides the Yim Tian Zai Arts Festival. So we haven't stopped at all. Now, if you're looking for major attractions, a new area will be commissioned in Disneyland in November. And don't forget the Ocean Park. 1 year ago, the Water World was commissioned. And there are a lot of enhancements to existing attractions. Now, after the epidemic, the Peak Tram has been fully revamped. It offers a much more comfortable riding experience for visitors with a more magnificent view. I have to mention the City in Time as well. That is a very in-depth tourism experience for visitors in Central and Kowloon. Through the augmented reality technology, you can immerse yourself in the past. And there are also animations created by local artists. The artistic elements are so rich. Now, the above shows that a lot has been happening over the past few years. The CSTB, under the leadership of the Secretary as well as the Tourism Board, we are trying to offer a new experience to visitors. Thank you for attending today's press conference.